Hey, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Coaching from the Couch. This is your Washington Commanders update. And I am your host, CWall, checking in as I love to do, especially during football season, to give you the latest and greatest information and all the happenings going on with the Washington Commanders. If you all are tuning in, make sure you hit that love button, drop a fire emoji, because we are, in fact, celebrating another Victory Monday. Can you believe it? 2 in a row to open up the season. You absolutely want to tag in your Washington Commanders loving family and friends if you want them to join in on the live discussion so that they can have their commentary and their feedback shared as well on the game. We may as well have some fun while we're at it, right, you all? So we're going to get into a couple of our engagement items. You know, we always, I like to have my engagement. I like to see what you like, what you didn't like. We're going to go through some feedback, go through my insights as well. So if you are just tuning in from the Coaching from the Couch series, this is the Washington Commanders update, specifically focused on the Washington Commanders. Love button, please. Fire emoji. Share this show with your Washington Commanders loving family and friends. And if you're watching on the television screen, hello, my name is Candi, also known as CWall. All right, what a weekend! All right, it's a lot going on. It was just a lot. In great news is not on top of Victory Monday. May I get a round of applause, please? Because I did not at all suffer from altitude sickness. Now, I can't say the same for my colleague Darrell Owens. Darrell is fine. He's all right. But outside, not so much. I was all right. I did okay. It typically hits me in Denver when I'm there longer, but it was okay. But to get us started, you already know what I'm getting ready to ask you. What's your one word? What is your one word to describe how you are feeling on this Victory Monday? What is your one word to describe how you were feeling right after the game? I want to know. Let me know. And I see Damon has checked in. Melvin Russ McCray has as well. One word, folks. You got to have one word. After all of that, it's got to be something. I definitely want to know. And Damon has already jumped in with excited. Cameron Mingo, relieved. Tina Moore actually has one of mine, because I run the game, but I don't necessarily play the game. And shocked was definitely one of the things I was feeling as we were watching that game. Melvin Russ McCray says relieved. Mama Waller says OMG. She only had a word. She had an acronym. And DJ Bland says yowie wowie. All of the above. All of the above. It's interesting because, you've heard me all say, typically you practice how you play. So what you see on Sunday is what you see in practice. And you all know that last week after week 1, despite getting the right letter of the alphabet, and that would be the W, I was still very like, this isn't good. I don't know how many more games they're going to win playing that way. And that's a team that I haven't seen. What is that exactly? Because that's just not what I was accustomed to watching. Right around the middle of the second quarter, definitely going into the half for sure in the second half, I recognized those people. Now, those individuals that played in the second half of that game, I've seen them all before. I've actually been seeing those individuals since May. They looked all familiar to me. Now I felt like I knew what I was watching. That my friends, is what I had been talking about. That right there was what I said. I said, see, herein lies a challenge. I don't, when I come to you all, and you all know that I'm there, I'm telling you exactly what I saw. So then when you play on a game on Sunday, not everybody is seeing supposedly what I saw. So now I have to come back and tell everybody, y'all, listen, that's not what I saw. The second half of the Denver Broncos game, week 2, is the first time that I can confidently tell you all that right there, all those people, the decisions that were being made, the adjustments that were being made, that's them. There they go. Okay. Everybody is here finally in real life, mentally, physically, emotionally. They're all accounted for. Relieved is actually the word, because I was starting to think that it was something just was wrong. I did a pregame show yesterday. My Fox Sports 1340 AM family hit me up and said, hey, CWall, if you got about 5-10 minutes, I want you on pregame. And I said, absolutely, happy to do it from Mile High Stadium. I told them a few things. I said I was looking for Logan Thomas to kind of redeem himself. I wanted to see a Logan Thomas touchdown, and we got that. Best wishes to Logan. I wanted to see Antonio Gibson redeem himself after the fumble, and just that running back core overall. I wanted to see them get back into it and be the dominant powerhouse runners that I know that they were. And I said it. I said, I'm going to go ahead and say it. If you saw any of my posts from week 2, I was wearing an animal print shirt. I was wearing a tiger print shirt. When Darrell saw me, the first thing he said, he laughed because, it was ready. I was in game mode, and he was like, oh, I see you got your tiger print on. You gonna go get him today, Tiger? And I said, yep, me and Chase, I'm gonna go get him, and Chase gonna go and get him. And all of the above took place. That was what needed to happen offensively. We know that there's offensive line challenges. But there were still some things from an offensive perspective where you look at the fact that Sam Howell, and I think just about all of the offense, except for Sam Cosmi, when he had to go out that play, took every single snap. So when everything is starting to fold in, you saw an offense that was still able to score 35 points. You know that this is an offense that's still trying to gel together in an offensive line way. You know that this is still a very, very young quarterback, right? And they scored 35 points when they were down 21-3. But those are the people that I recognize. I know those people. Now, let me also say this, and then we're going to get into some content and what some key moments that I really enjoyed, and I would love you all's feedback on. And we're going to watch a couple of content videos as well. I think they could have lost the game. And, depending on who you ask, maybe they should have, right? Doesn't matter. Victory Monday. Here we are. The slow starts in today's press conference via Zoom with Ron Rivera, the 2 missed field goals by Joey Sly. So that's 6 points left out there. The bad snaps is a result, that has something to do with that as well. But the missed kicks, those certain things, there were some missed tackles. There were some mistakes made. And so you can't help but to think to yourself, at least for me, I say, well, what happens if they fix those mistakes? Who could this team really be? If we all know that they're still gelling in some areas and they're still learning in some areas, who could they really be? Emmanuel Forbes Jr. You even saw him get beat a time or two. And so that's why I was like, okay, what's going on here? But everyone was able to crank it in motion for certain. So picture here, camera curl, Cody Barton, I posted that Cody at the end of the game actually chatted with Darrell and acknowledged the first half was not good for him. The second half was much better. So, and we see Deron Payne back there. You see 94 back there. I can't have a show without mentioning 94, just to be honest. And then these two right here. 99, 90. Love button, fire emoji. If you're just tuning in, this is from the Coaching from the Couch series, the Washington Commanders Update. I'm your host, CWall, hosting and facilitating the conversation, all recap on week 2. We're focusing now on some of our favorite players and moments from the game right here on your television screens. 99, 90. Really, really great to have everybody out there. Just awesome, awesome moment. Here's where it almost went down south. The Hail Mary. I'm like, what are we tapping footballs instead of catching them? But hey, it ended up working out in the Commanders' favor in the end. So that's good and that's great. But let me tell you, that was almost very sad. It would have been so sad if they had done all of that to lose in that manner. So again, as Coach Ron Rivera said in his press conference today, there's some things we need to work on. Some things he didn't do well. And he did some things well. Well, there's definitely some things to work on. And I was just kind of like, who is tapping the football? Catch the football. But it worked out in the end. And the Washington Commanders were victorious. So I still want to get to these videos. I still want to get to them. I definitely want to get to Sam Howell's and Chase Young's media availability as well. So let's go ahead and pop up Sam Howell's.
What is a win? What does that kind of game say about this team?
Yeah, I mean, I think it says everything. That's who this team is. Obviously, we went down early. We kind of put ourselves in a hole early on in the game, but this is a resilient team. And the thing I'm proud of is we had each other's back on both sides of the ball. That's what good teams have to do to find a way to win. We knew there was a lot of football left. Obviously, we would have liked to come out and start a little better. But at the end of the day, we made the plays when we needed to make them, and that's what matters.
What sparked that turnaround?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was just taking it one play at a time, and knowing you don't have to get it all at one time, and taking it one play at a time. I think EB did a good job with the play calling, and we put together some good drives, and the defense put together some big stops.
Sam Terry says it's been pitched to get the ball downfield. What did you see on that play, and that's
Yeah, that was a play coming into the game. We knew we wanted to get called just to give Terry that opportunity, and they were in a coverage where we knew we'd have a chance to get the ball down the field, and luckily we bought enough time to get Terry behind the safeties, and I just tried to kind of throw it over their head and let Terry have a chance to make a play on it. He made a great play, and we just got to continue to do that. We got to continue to give him the ball and give him those chances down the field, because usually when you do, good things happen.
Stand back to that fourth quarter comeback to start the year. How do you feel about that?
Good, but at the same time, would not like to be in no position every week. We felt like we could move the ball on these guys, but it was just a matter of us playing clean football, and limiting the sacks in the first half was a big thing. And I feel like the first 2 drives we moved the ball well, but it was just either a sack or a penalty. I can't really remember, but we felt like we were doing a good job. I had some good things game plan. We just got to play better and execute.
And then 6 explosives, preliminary count 6 explosives in the second half, a lot better than the first half. What was the difference from your mindset?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was, a combination of everything. I think, kind of we were rolling on offense and doing some good things on the ground and in the air, and we opened up the screen game in the second half, and that was big for us. I think the screen game was one of the main things that won us this game. Those backs did a good job. The O-line did a good job in space, but getting to those screens, because those guys were kind of teeing off, but getting to those screens was huge for us.
Same obviously a lot of attention on the quarterback, pressuring you as a young guy. What's it like knowing when you go out there that even if something doesn't go right on offense, that defense is going to make plays, particularly those guys up front?
Oh, it's awesome. Just knowing the defense we have, and it gives me so much confidence going into the game, knowing our defense. And they're going to make plays. Obviously, I think they'd like to have some plays back. But at the end of the day, they made the stops when they need to make the stops. So it's so much fun playing with those guys, and it was good to have Chase back out there too.
So I've seen your comments, and again, I'm not real sure what the complaints have ever really been about Sam Howell. He's so transparent. He's such an advocate for his teammates, and he just wants to do well. And I want to see, because I see this comment here from Eric Jessup about the O-line, and I'm like, hey, listen, this O-line held up. And I think the O-line is actually, for them to be, when you look at the numbers and you take in those moments about the different holes that were there for B-Rob, for AG24, and now I'm starting to talk like these guys. Oh my gosh. And so Antonio Gibson, and you say, if they're able to score 35 points, 35, and the O-line got some kinks to work out. And like I said, other than Sam Cosmi, because he went out that one play and then got right back in, they played 100% of the snaps. So you can't help but to say, now wait a second. This O-line, they end up coming out and winning 2 weeks in a row. Week 2, score 35 points. You start to see the running backs in these holes. You see them running down the field. You see them blocking. You're seeing them do all the things that offensive linemen do. Is it perfect? Is it good? Absolutely no way. But I can't help but to say, if barring any injury, it makes me wonder, and this is something that Coach Eric Bieniemy said before, the more they play together, give them some time based on where they are. This is a essentially new O-line of them being together, this O-line, this one. And give them a minute. And let's see what happens. And it makes you wonder, well, how bad are they? Now, they blow some plays, but how bad truly are they if behind them you still end up with 35 points? So that's what you got to end up kind of starting to look at. How does that end up being the case if you can still score 30 plus? So I'm hard on them, but you have to take into consideration their newness to each other. But they playing every single snap. And they living to tell about it another week, right? Everybody's got some nicks here, but they living to tell about it another week. So let's see how they continue to gel and how they continue to build that camaraderie. Because one thing about it, and y'all saw again this week, their reaction to what happened with Logan. Oh, they're not taking it. And Sam Cosmi said this. This was during training camp. They're not going to take any crap from nobody. So you have to see how they are together and how they just, it's something there. It's something else there. We know they're new. There's going to be growing pains. But if they're new and they're growing pains and they're still able to score 35 points, I would say that's pretty promising. Love or fire emoji. So that's a good thing. Now let's move on. This is where I'm going to end up closing out the show. I'm going to share Chase Young's media availability. Let me tell you all something. And I went on my Chase rant last week because some of the things that I was seeing being said about Chase, it even bothered me in the spirit of transparency. It really did. I'm like, it's you get out there and you're out there and you want the best for these guys. You do. And the reason why you do is not just because you cover them, and it's not just because it's good for business. But despite what everybody may think, winning is good for all associated businesses, okay? Media included. So you see how hard they work. And my thing was simply pay attention to the clues. Look at his friends. I call them friends because that's what they are. Look at his buddies. Look at his teammates. Why would he not want to get out there with them? He's not that type of dude that would just be like, oh, I'm going to just sit this one out. No, that's not how this works in real life. And I'm going to continue to encourage everybody. Yes, everybody has a degree of PTSD from the previous owner. 20 plus years is a long time to be traumatized. But I assure you all that that's not what's happening here. I'm not saying what they're going to do, it's just week 2. But what I'm saying is, if I see something, I'm going to say something. And this is the platform to share it based on my experience and being out there just about every single day. And yesterday meant a lot to Chase. It meant a lot to the team. It meant a lot to his defensive unit. It meant a lot to the defensive line. I shared on my page that it was so wonderful to see Terry McLaurin run up to him after Terry was done with his media availability. He ran up to Chase and gave him the biggest hug and said, I'm proud of you, bro. That's what's happening in the locker room. Okay? Real life stuff. Real brotherhood, real family, real camaraderie. That's what's happening. The age-old, whatever rumors was going around, that ain't this. And even for Montez to share, it was John Keim, Nikki Javala, myself standing there chatting with Montez Sweat, and he just talked about how amazing it was to have Chase back out there. And he said, that's like my best friend. I mean, he said, he talked about the long road of injuries that Chase. So he wants the ball. It doesn't serve him well at all to fake it. What good is faking it going to do? The reality is football is rough. It's dangerous. Okay? Very. But that's how they eat. That's how they get paid. That's how their families live. And it serves nobody well if he's out there faking it in front of his friends. I was very, 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 very happy for Chase because he deserved that moment. We don't know how long it's going to last. We don't know how long these moments are going to last for any player. Just ask Aaron Rodgers, right? We don't know. Who knows? But I tell you what, he wanted the ball, and he did. So for all of the he's a bust, I'm done with him, blah, 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 blah. Hey, love button, fire emoji, because you got to be very happy. You got to Chase Young wearing the burgundy and gold. So check out his media availability.
Obviously got back out there and got the sack, got in the backfield. How excited were you just to be back with the guys and on the field?
Man, just feeling blessed, man. It's been a long time coming for me. Man, I was just a blessing just to be running around on the field, being out there with 9 on the guys. I think that was the most, exciting thing for me.
What was it like at 21-3, down early in this game, and how did you guys stay together?
Yeah, it was weird. We never really, we never really let it hit us. Because a lot of, they came out, a lot of trick plays here and there. Really, it's not like they were just running the ball down our throat. Second half they ran out of those little plays, and we practice on just keep chopping wood, just keep coming, and that's just what we did. We just continued to go, and my offense put on a hell of a game. Sam, EB, the O-line. So man, we got it as a team today.
Chase, that was your first heck in almost 2 years because of all you had gone through. What did it feel like to get that again?
honestly just feel blessed, man. I just feel blessed, man. Thankful that God put me back in position to do what I love to do.
When you get them, does it feel different? Does it feel like at times? What does it feel like?
And it felt, I mean, honestly, you know, it feels good as a sack. I put my prayer hands together and I gave him the glory. So.
Hey, Chase, Coach Barry talked about just the connection that you
Yeah. I mean, when you're together every day, all the time, it's kind of like, you know, we just in sync. You know, we just know each other. You know, it just felt good being out there in my game.
I feel like maybe you reminded. I'm sorry, Don.
Yeah, man. I think it just comes with practice. Just keep working, keep grinding. And I feel like, you know, as we continue to do that, the pieces will even come together even more. I feel like we didn't play our best game today at all. We made a lot of mistakes out there, so we definitely have a lot more pieces to put together.
You feel like you reminded the NFL world just exactly what you are as a player today?
Fucking right.
You know, people going, you know, when you up, they're going to praise you. When you down, they're going to hate you, bro. I'm right in the middle.
You don't want to say what Sweat said?
When B-Rob had that moment, Brandon feels like what was that moment like just watching the offense? You're good.
I mean, it was it's like watching practice coming to the game. You know, EB always hammers those guys on finishing in practice, and I always say, man, them boys will be in shape when the game comes. Every practice, when they get the ball, they finish and score, and I think you've seen that.
That is the conclusion of this week's Washington Commanders update. Thank you all so much for tuning in, as you do each and every single week, to get all of the latest, greatest information on the Washington Commanders. I certainly appreciate it. This is Candi Waller of Bowie Television. You all can still catch the show. You can still share the show with your Washington Commanders loving family and friends. Share it with them. Tell them about it. Again, Verizon Channel 11, Comcast Xfinity Channel 77 each and every single day from 1:30 to 2:30. I will be seeing you guys again soon.